DJ Pro Advanced Transition Tutorial. On this one, we're doing the custom build-ups. I'm DJ Spiegel Spin, and let's get started. This transition is used when you're playing two EDM songs and you have them matched together and you want to end one song and you want to have the other song playing on the drop. So what we're going to do is we're going to set a loop on the song that we're trying to mix out of, and then we're going to tighten the loop every couple of beats until it gets really tight and it gives you a custom build-up sound. And then you could also spice it up a little bit by adding some of the filters or adding some of the effects. So I'm going to show you guys how it's done. Alright, so the song on the right is the song that we want to keep playing, and the song on the left is the song that we are mixing out. So pick a spot right before the drop, maybe 8 bars or 16 bars out, and then set your loop. Start it at a 2-bar loop, and then go all the way down to about 1/8. So let's do this right now. So we got our two songs playing for the example. And the most important thing to do is to add a little chaos and add some excitement right before the drop. But when the drop hits, make sure you have the first song off and the other song is playing. So if you miss the drop by a little bit and you still have the loop going, it's going to mess up the whole effect. And then instead of making the drop better, you actually ruin the drop. So the one thing to remember is make sure you either move the crossfader so that the song's off, or press the pause button, or if you have the mixer open, you could just lower the volume. This trick is one that I always use when I want to do add a little more pizzazz to my mix when I'm doing EDM. And this trick can also be done with one song playing. So you could practice if you're even just playing one song at a time and you want it to sound a little different and you want to be a little more unique than just playing a song and letting the song play. What you can do is you can EQ the build up right before the drop. So one way to do it is you go over here and you're going to take out all the lows so that there'll be no bass, so that it'll only be the highs, so that when the bass hits on the drop, it'll sound that much harder of a hit. So let me give you an example. And just like I said before, the most important thing is make sure that you got the lows back to where they're supposed to be before the drop hits. Because if you do that and then you don't put the lows back, the drop hits and everyone's going to be like, what the hell, where's the bass on the drop? And then you have effectively ruined the drop. So the object is to make it better, not make it worse. So that was with the lows off. And now what you can do also is you could put the high pass filter on. And what the high pass filter will do is it'll take out the lows and it will add a little sweeping effect. So depending on what kind of controller you're using, or if you're just doing it on the iPad, you might want to do this a different way. If it's easier on your controller to just take the low EQ down, then do that. If it's easier to just using the iPad to just turn up the filter a little bit, then do that. It's whatever's easier for you, whatever will make the trick sound better. So here is with the filter. So you see how much harder that hit because it had no bass in it, and it also had that sweeping effect, which added to the build-up and added to the drama. You can also do this trick using the effects. Or you could do the effects and the EQ once you get really good at it, as long as you're confident with getting everything back to where it's supposed to be by the drop. So the 3 most common effects that I use when I do this trick would either be the echo, flanger, or scratcher. The scratcher sounds really cool, but it could be a little more tricky to pull off. So I'm going to show you how to do all 3 of these, and then you guys could choose which effect that you want to do, or you could practice the ones that are a little more difficult, and use whichever one is best for you. So I'm going to do this one with the echo. So that's what it sounds like with the echo. The echo kind of gives it a bit of a stuttering effect, which could add to the build up and then make the drop hit a lot harder. So echo, I would definitely do the echo. And then also, if you want to do the echo and then you want to throw in the filter, it sounds a little bit like this. You see that one, I missed it. It's hard to do on the iPad if you want to combine the effects with the filters and stuff. So don't try to do everything at once. Work on it and maybe save the more intense tricks for when you are using a controller and you have the access to all the buttons and you can see all the screens. So Flanger is a really cool effect, and it kind of it's like a robot sound, kind of like a high pitched sound, very techno-y. So I like to throw it in before the drop. It kind of, people are like, what the hell? And then boom, the drop comes and everyone dances and everyone goes nuts. So this is what the Flanger would sound like. So that one's really good. Always have the Flanger ready. It's one of the most common effects. It's used in a lot of EDM music, so it'll sound natural and it'll sound like it's actually part of the song. So now with the scratcher, this is one of my favorite ones. This one's a little bit harder to pull off. What the scratcher does is it makes artificial scratching sounds. So instead of actually moving the jog wheel for the scratching sound, what it does is it will do a little scratch. So I'll show you an example earlier in the song. So with this one, if you just press it like you guys saw, it doesn't really sound that good because it has no different frequencies. So what I do, this is the there's a little slider on all the effects which changes the frequencies of the effects. So what I like to do is I'll turn on the scratcher and then kind of scratch with this slider over here, and that'll give it that error scratching effect like someone was actually scratching. So I'll show you guys now. Let's try it again. So if you saw, it was subtle, but the thing with DJing is the subtle things are what you want to do. You don't want it to sound really extreme and really abrupt, but if you could sneak in a little scratch like that and do it at the right time like that, then it really sounds cool. It really sounds like you added a scratch right before the drop. So I'm going to show you guys that one more time. It's really hard to do, and it takes a lot of getting used to, especially with using just the iPad, but it's definitely possible, and once you could pull it off, I definitely recommend doing it. Don't go too crazy with this effect, because once I learned how to use it, I went a little bit overboard because it's so fun and it sounds so cool. So with any effect, use it in a moderation. So that one wasn't as good as the other one, and it's a little bit unpredictable and it's a little bit risky, but the best DJs out there take risks. And the worst thing that happens is you mess up one mix and most people are drunk or they're partying, not really paying attention, and your set will still be fine. So if you like videos like this and learning how to DJ with DJ Pro and the iPad, subscribe to this channel. I make several videos every week about DJing with the iPad.